Hi, welcome to Political Muscle. I'm Paul Maverick.
I'm Jennifer Goff.
I'm Danielle Kreinick.
Today we're working out on the overhead press machine, which works out the deltoids and the triceps.
This is torture.
It has an awkward sort of seat, so we want to make sure it's in place.
Gotta be safe. Safety always comes first, doesn't it, Paul?
It does indeed. In fact, we're going to be so safe, we're going to buckle up for safety.
And we're even going to talk about safety today.
We are.
Absolutely.
There's been an article in the New York Times, a great investigative piece about food safety, specifically ground beef.
Yes. I don't know about you guys, but I don't really eat much meat at all.
Well, Stephanie Smith doesn't eat much ground beef either. Stephanie Smith, a 20-year-old dance instructor from Minnesota, who ate a hamburger at a family barbecue and 10 days later was in the hospital. Doctors induced a coma because they thought she was in such danger. She came out of it.
I think it was 9 weeks.
It was 9 weeks.
It was 9 weeks in the coma,
God.
and now she can't walk, and she can barely speak. When she speaks, it's really hard to understand her.
So a dance instructor who is now paralyzed
It's awful.
because she ate a hamburger. And what was in the hamburger that paralyzed her, I wonder?
E.coli.
E.coli H157057. That's the name, yes. And where does E.coli come from?
Cow poo.
Yeah, in other words,
Was
shit.
that what it was?
Yeah, there was shit in the meat.
Oh my God.
Now, you'd think, gosh, that's horrible. That must be really uncommon. In fact, it isn't at all.
Oh my God.
There's a number of places in the slaughter process which can introduce feces into the beef, and then the beef gets ground up, and the bacteria is now deep inside the hamburger. And we think of a hamburger coming from one cow, right? Being a steak that's been ground up, and that isn't the case.
But it's not. There are many, many cows that go into it.
One hamburger can have beef from as many as 100 cows.
100 cows?
100 cows. And this particular patty that Stephanie Smith ate had beef from 4 different sources, right? Texas, Nebraska, Uruguay, and then this place called Beef Products. 10% of this burger, excuse me, safety first. 10% of this burger
Beef products.
wasn't even beef, right? It was beef derivatives.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Why would you want to eat something that was made of beef derivative?
Well, you probably wouldn't if you knew, right?
Right.
But people
Well,
don't
that's
know.
the thing about knowing. And you ultimately want to see those good, like, the people that value food safety succeed. Like, what sort of corporations are there out there that actually test their meat and do really good jobs with, like, cleanliness and stuff like that?
Well, the New York Times highlighted Costco in particular as being a company that will test the product after it gets to them. You see, they don't slaughter the cows at Costco. They grind the meat.
Right,
So
but does Costco test all of their meat?
they don't test some of the what's it called? The trimmings,
Right.
was it? That are brought in from an outside source that supposedly the trimming supplier has tested, but Costco hasn't. And we've seen outbreaks, but no one was sickened by the last recall. They were able to catch it in time, but you're gambling here. It's a big gamble.
See, I don't understand why Costco doesn't test all the meat.
Why don't all the slaughterhouses test all their meat? Why don't all the grinders test all their meat?
Because the problem was, what the article was saying is that 80% of the testing, they missed, 80% of the E. coli, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, so who's really minding the store? And it's a question of cost, right? It's a question of profit. Why it isn't, the ground beef doesn't come from a whole steak. They discovered that Cargill, which is turns out the most profitable private company in the United States, the drawing in meat from all these different sources, they were able to assemble this meat, this product, for $1 a pound. Whereas if they had just ground up whole steaks, it would have been $1.30. So that this 30 cents on the pound is worth it to them for the thousands of people to be sick, for people like Stephanie Smith to get paralyzed. It's worth it to them for their profits.
Well, it makes you want to ground your own meat. It makes you want to go to your local grocer and ground your own meat.
These grinders who say, well, we can't ask our meat producers to test it because they won't sell to us. If we say, hey, we only want tested meat, they won't sell to us, so we don't ask.
Yeah, but then they'll go out of business and it'll be all great.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? You'd think so, but there are plenty of companies that have committed all kinds of crimes that are still in business.
Yeah.
It's cheerful, isn't it?
It is
Corporate
cheerful.
capitalism. Well, why did Stephanie Smith get sick, and how many hundreds were sickened by that particular outbreak? And you see the federal government issuing guidelines suggesting that maybe you might want to test your meat. Why not a mandate?
Yeah.
Force them!
The problem is, it's just suggestions.
Exactly.
And when they're just suggestions, they're not going to do anything about it. And I don't understand why they can't say you have to do something about the meat, because more people are going to get sick. Why can't you just say, no, this is the time.
Well,
look at all these people who've gotten sick. You have to do something now.
It comes down to us.
Yeah.
And government is supposed to be we the people. Yeah. And government is supposed to be watching out for these things. You can't go to the slaughterhouse, and I can't go to the meat grinder and make sure they're doing everything safely. We've elected representatives to do this for us. So they need to do it, rather than being captive to the meat industry and to the lobbyists who are funneling money towards them.
But they're not doing anything.
We need to contact our congresspeople, our representatives, and say, we're interested in food safety legislation, we're interested in animals having ethical lives. Go to callcongress.org and find out what your congressperson's number is and call him or her. Let that person know what you think about food safety.
Paul, all this talking about food and working out is making me hungry.
I'm tired, and is there someplace near here that we can go really quickly and get
something cheap and convenient?
I like that.
That'd be great.
Like an apple? If it doesn't look like food,
don't eat it.
Until next time, I'm Paul Maverick.
I'm Jennifer Goth.
I'm Danielle Krynick.
Get out there, get active, and flex your political muscle. They washed the ground beef in ammonia. Oh my God!
Are you serious?
Yes, the burgers that we eat have been washed in ammonia.
Fuck that.